February energy forecast. I'm excited to be doing today's forecast. There was a lot that came through for February, and some of it not so surprising, some of it we better be ready for this. It's going to be interesting here. So let's really just dive in. I also got a bit of a nudge to pull a few cards at the end of this just to see what wants to come through from Spirit. And so just give yourself a moment, whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're busy doing some things. Maybe you're sitting, relaxing, watching this. Allowing yourself to just land in this moment. Receive, taking a deep breath in. Holding at the top. Release. If you're needing deeper support on your journey, this is beautiful work that I provide in the one-to-one sessions that I do. I offer deep dive soul coaching, both individual sessions as well as programs. I also offer one-to-one soul readings in your Akashic records and one-to-one intuitive guidance sessions with Spirit, with your Spirit team. So depending on what you're needing for your body, your mind, your soul, you can definitely check out all of that info in the link in my bio. As well, I also offer my Soul Empowered membership. And this is a really beautiful offering that's very full-bodied in the support it provides. You have access to my you have access to my online programs, my Akashic Records signature program, helping you tap into the Akashic Records, as well as build your intuitive gifts. You also have access to my Power and Purpose Activated program, which teaches you how to deepen into the body, deepen into your power, understand your purpose, and how to step onto that path on your journey. Within my membership, you also have access to all of my guided meditations to support you daily on your path, as well as our weekly live meetups, which we meet. I do channeled guidance from the records, and you have the opportunity to receive one-to-one support. So all of that through the link in bio. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let's dive in. So the first piece is around building greater capacity. So January was a big month for so many of us. Oh man, I talked to all of you guys, and there was just so much coming up, so many triggers, so many activations, so many big pieces. It was like the gift that kept giving. And now as we move into February, what Spirit wants to remind you of is that you are building greater capacity to be able to hold more. And the analogy that was given around this was like going to the gym, and let's say you're wanting to build more muscles, bigger muscles. You would understand that this takes time, but it also involves moving slow, trusting the process, and that you would start to notice benchmarks as you are building those muscles. You might be able to lift more after a certain amount of time. Such is the case for February. What you're going to notice is it's not necessarily that things are getting easier. It's that because of the work you've been putting in, because of the healing and the growth and the expansion and the digging in, you're learning how to hold more, and you will be able to see this showing up in how much more you're being able to hold, both within yourself, the energy showing up within you, as well as the collective energy. And one way you can really start to see this is if you were to look back 2 years ago, notice how much more you're able to hold in this space. Notice how much more of the triggers or the pieces that are showing up that you're able to be with. 444 on the timestamp. Another piece related to this, and this is the second theme, is old energy clearing. So what you might notice is this month there might be still pieces showing up, but what they want to remind you of is that this is like residual energy of past pieces that is showing up, kind of like a lingering cough. Or another way they had me help explain it was like an after quake of an earthquake. So sometimes there's that after tremor. So if you're noticing bits and pieces showing up this month, this is residual stuff from a lot of the big pieces you were working through in January. And the invitation here is to allow the space for it to surface and clear. There isn't a whole lot of digging you have to do with it, or a whole lot of like moving around and shifting and healing on a deeper level. What's showing up is really just residual energy that's wanting to clear from those pieces. So try not to create a story or attach to it. let it go. The third theme is noticing attachments to old identities. And so this goes right along with the letting go piece, because what you will notice is as you are opening, expanding, deepening into more of your authenticity, these old identities, these old ways of seeing yourself, of being, of identifying the roles that you played in past versions of you, you will notice that the ego is probably going to want to fight you more on holding on to these. And so the invitation here is, it's like a costume of a role that you're no longer playing, or like an old pair of pants that no longer fit you. Let it go. And the reminder here is that letting go is actually an active process. That when we begin to see that letting go isn't just us surrendering in a state of submission, letting go actually is an active process in going within ourselves, seeing where we are putting up resistance and holding on, seeing what those parts of us need, and feeling safer to expand more into who we authentically are, into our deeper self. And there, letting go becomes a very active process rather than a process of feeling like we just have to let go and trust in something and not actually be able to feel our power. So it's an active process. The fourth theme, not your energy. And so February is going to be an opportunity for you to practice more energetic discernment of what is not yours. And you're going to start to notice this more and more. You're getting better at noticing this. Your ability to be able to be the awareness of energy that is not yours is getting greater, right? Notice if we go back to that piece of greater capacity, this is a piece of it, is having more of that energetic discernment. And Spirit had a really funny analogy for this, which was when someone farts in a room, you would smell that. Well, you would probably smell that, but you wouldn't say that's mine, or you wouldn't assume it's yours. You would smell it and be like, that's not my energy. The same is the case in energy that's all around you, whether it's something you're seeing, hearing, feeling in the body or the heart, thinking. Not all of that energy is going to be yours. So practicing discernment of what is your energy and what is something outside of you, clearing and not attaching to it, right? And a great way to practice this is when you leave an environment, when you leave a space, when you leave being around other people, noticing how you feel, noticing how your energy feels, noticing what feels like yours and what was theirs. Just like when you get off your phone, when you detach from your social media, noticing how you feel, noticing how your energy feels and what's not yours that maybe you picked up from watching or going through your social media. Versus when you leave the forest after a long forest walk, notice how your energy feels there. Grounded, rooted, clear, connected. Just like after you do a meditation, right? And you've sat and you've gone in to your body and you've connected and you've brought awareness to maybe thoughts that are showing up. That's what meditation is all about. There is a difference in how your energy is going to feel in certain spaces, around certain people, in certain activities versus others. And so continuing to practice that energetic discernment. The final theme, and actually one of my favorites in the February forecast, is creating space for the exhale. So because there is so much sort of big collective energy that's showing up and has been showing up and will continue to show up, February is an opportunity for you to get better at creating space for the exhale. Because part of the collective energy, because it's so big, because it can feel so activating, it will tend to keep our nervous system in a state of inhale, like this. Almost like a hypervigilant response, being on guard. And so the more that you can actively practice creating that exhale, whether it is just simply practicing the exhale, another thing that you can do is when you are breathing in, let's say you count in for 4. On the exhale, exhale and release for more. And so notice that on that inhale, I inhaled for 4, and then I exhaled for 6. And when you can create a longer exhale, that actually tells your body, tells your system, it's safe. and it allows it to regulate more consistently. And one other way that you can actually create space for the exhale is creating pockets in your day where you naturally are able to exhale. So maybe more moments of rest, maybe more moments of where you're disconnecting from things out there and just being, more moments where you're settling in or grounding into your energy. The more that you can do this, and this can be small pockets, it doesn't have to be something big. You could even set reminders on your phone, exhale, right? The more you're able to do this, the more you are then, if we go back to the first theme, able to hold more, creating a greater capacity to hold all of the energy, because I'm telling you right now, the collective energy is only going to continue to get bigger, because more and more and more is showing up in the collective in order for more and more people to wake up, more and more people to be activated. This is why the triggers are occurring, is because when we get activated, we become more uncomfortable with what was in order to delayer, deepen into our authentic selves and become more of what we are becoming. Trust in the process. All of it makes sense. So let's pull some cards. I'm going to pull 3 cards for February. And I'm using my Colette Baron Reed deck, Wisdom of the Oracle. Oh, one fell out. One of my favorite cards came out. The first card, a change in the wind. So 12 would be something to notice there. The house on top of the zebra, stripes. Notice that the house is on top of the zebra, and the zebra being 2 separate colors, black and white. And so part of the piece that's coming through here is there are changes occurring in the home that you are building within yourself. And you might notice that you're trying to find a new grasp on your reality. You're trying to find a new center, a better idea of who you are becoming. But the important piece to remember here is that home has always been within you. And who you are becoming has always been who you are within you. And so try not to get too caught up, too wound up in needing to know the answers right now, in needing to know exactly what's going to occur. Also notice the ways in which your ego might be grappling for a new identity, for new pieces to attach onto, for new identities to be found within. Right? You are in a process of delayering from the identities. And the ego is very quick at getting us to attach onto something new when what we were attaching onto is no longer there. So allow yourself to ride the wind, to flow with the wind, to allow your path to be carrying you right now, and try not to attach onto too many things, because attachments really, on a deeper level, are safety. So how can you continue to go within, ground within, connect within, to feel that safety within yourself, to connect into the home within yourself as you are releasing more and tapping more into who you're becoming? Okay. Yang. Number 1 might be important to also notice a fireball between the hands, the 2 hands opening up. There's a really strong reminder here that you are always in reciprocal relationship with spirit, in what you create, in what you bring to life, in what you experience. in what you step into, expand into, that just as we are meant to take action in our lives, and we are meant to do the things when our soul feels called and when we're feeling the nudge, also trusting that you are in relationship with spirit, and that reciprocity gets to occur when you trust, when you surrender a little bit of that control to the outcome, and that you trust that while you are taking the action, the bricks are being laid out in front of you. The path is being shown to you. Surrender, and this is so interesting because it goes back to the themes. Surrender is not a submissive experience. There is action in surrender. And we find that action when we go within and we feel into what feels right and true for us. Because the truth is, the only thing you can control is your own actions. And so notice this month, when you start to feel the doubt or the fear surfacing, how can you go within to, again, feel into that safety, into that grounding, but into your power? And what can you be doing on your path, trusting your actions while the journey, the path is being shown to you by spirit? That's how you start to receive more. Lastly, my favorite card in the deck, Between Worlds, number 3. This is actually interesting because it also connects to change in the wind. Notice the zebra, notice the flamingo, 2 different colors there, 2 different experiences, right? The dark versus the color and the light of the other side. And what's coming through here is being okay with being still in the dark around certain pieces, not necessarily being able to see the clear-cut way yet into more expansion, into greater experience, into the things that you are desiring, into what you know is coming on your path. Are you okay with being in the middle, being in this place of what was and what is becoming? Getting comfortable there, because we don't actually ever let ourselves just land and be in a space of what was before we enter into the next. We're always in this state of more, now. And so there is also an invitation here to reflect on what was, to notice if there is any grief showing up. Can you hold space for the grief? Can you be with it? Because when we don't allow ourselves to process or be with any grief, it actually takes up a lot of space within ourselves. It can feel heavy, it can feel all-consuming, and it can feel like we need to project that, and it can create a lot of chaos in our lives. So can you be with the grief of what was? Can you reflect on where you're coming from to help prepare you and clear space of what you are moving into? So good. I'm so glad that I was able to do this piece for you, the themes of the month, as well as some channeled guidance on what's to come, on how to support you as you move on the path. Again, I'm always here to support you in any way. Let me know if you need help. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful February.